Welcome back. You're still watching New Dawn, and we're still here to bring you different topics for discussion. Today we shall be taking a look at insecurity, the bane of development in Nigeria. We know that the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is something that is of grave concern to all, and despite all the money expended, the funds, the efforts of security agencies, it keeps escalating, and Nigerians are deeply worried. Each region faces its own form of security threats. Southwest, you talk of cybercrime, you talk of armed robbery, you talk of kidnapping, and other regions also have their own cases like that. Today, to talk about that topic, we have retired Commodore Kunle Olawunmi. He is a former Deputy Director of Defense Administration, Defense Headquarters. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
We also have the Dyke Ogbonnaya. He is the Public Relations Officer, NSCDC, Ogun State. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
I will start with retired Commodore Kunle Olawunmi. You know, in view of the position he held before he retired, and I would like to ask, how did we get here? What is actually happening? It seems Nigerians are sort of confused now. They don't know what is happening. Do you have an idea of what is happening in this country?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It depends on how far back we want to go. Do we want to go as far back as before independence? Do we want to go as far back as pre-colonial times? But let's take it from after independence, The British, just basically sold to us an independence that is full of virus, It was a deliberate act. They didn't want to leave us because of what they were benefiting. And when they saw that they had to leave, so what they did was to just plant a virus in Nigeria such that they can continue to benefit from Nigeria economically. And the virus has stuck to us since independence. First of all, what happened after independence was the ambitious, incursion into the political space by the military. That was the beginning of the problem that you are seeing today. The military had no business then, going to the government. There were a lot of ambition, and the youth then, the military youths, were just rascally. And they actually sowed the seed of what is you are seeing today. Subsequently, we went into issue of ethnicity, religion, whereby the elites that took over from the military saw that the way they can continue to cheat on the populace, and defraud them of their resources is to introduce religion and ethnicity. It's a form of divide and rule. And this continued unabated. Military came in again, the civilian came back. And by the time the civilian came back in 1999, Obasanjo was the president. I think it was already so bad. The psyche of the society was already damaged. And everybody seems to be for himself. God for us all. To this point, I think the challenge we have is the elite that has become irresponsible. You can call them political elites, you can call them business elites, but I think the challenge we have, remote causes of the challenge we have now are the elites that are so irresponsible in political space, in economic space, and that is why there's so much poverty. Because there's no way we're going to discuss insecurity without looking at poverty. Because when you have unemployment to the scale that we have now, the society has to survive. And how do you survive in a society that there's no opportunity at all? Education is gone. There's no health system. Driving to your station this morning, I nearly carried my car on my head because I came with my sports car. And it was impossible to get to your station. The roads are bad. How do you discuss economic issues when you don't even have good roads to transport your goods and wares, from where they are manufactured or where they are produced to the market? So I think by and large, if I want to summarize, I think we just have, since our time, the elites we have now are so irresponsible and very selfish. So we have population almost 80 million or more that are below poverty level, and you expect to have a secure country. It's almost impossible. Finally, I will mention the usual rule of law. I think this is about the only country I see where you take a case to court and you'll be guilty. You are the one that you are taking a case to court, and the criminal that you are charging to court will win you in court. So there's no rule of law. So when you collapse those indices, the executive rascality, those people you call your senators, governors, whatever you call them, then with a rule of law, a judiciary that has completely, become just where you go and, get, discouraged, to the point that people are now beginning to take laws into their hands. So that's what cumulates, to insecurity. If you do something wrong to me and I take you to the police station, I have to bribe them to get justice. Then if they take me to court, if they transfer the case to court, where I'm supposed to get, some respite, And the judge also will take money from me, take money from the other guy. IPOs, all of them are making business on my case. So what you now see now is people taking laws into their hands because it's like the entire system has basically broken down.
Commodore Olawunmi, given the avalanche of the crisis, as it were, you've given us a template, and I don't believe the problems are not insurmountable. It may take time. They are insurmountable. When former President Buhari was in office, Nigerian cries, or we were criticizing him of a top-bottom approach and the haphazard structure we have in the security architecture of this country. People are saying the security architecture was not too good, at least to combat the crisis as it were then. We have a new government in place that has tried to do some rearrangement in the security architecture. Do you see it adequate, at least to confront these challenges as it were?
Yeah, I think my immediate reaction to that is that it's too early to profile Tinubu now.
No, I'm not asking you to profile him.
We are talking about this present government, whether what they have put in place is adequate.
It's adequate.
Yeah, you cannot really know now, because what Tinubu has been doing is almost exactly what Buhari was doing. Approach to security is most time they are passive. If you want to solve security problem, it's not what people look at, buy more logistics, buy weapons, recruit 10,000 people. Those are tactical approach to trying to solve the insecurity problem that we have in Nigeria. Buhari did that, it didn't work, and I've not seen any changes in strategy now. I've been closely monitoring, because this is an area of deep interest to me, because I don't see why Nigeria should be at this point. And it saddens me. So since Tinubu came in, I've been watching to see whether there'll be some, that silver bullet that we actually address the issue. It's still kinetic approach, buying more weapons, sending troops into the bush, they ambush them, they kill them each other. It's Tom and Jerry. And I've always preached, even when I was in the defense sector, that it's not about Tom and Jerry game. You shoot them, they shoot you. You buy more weapons, they buy more weapons. And if you can continue infinitum. You can just continue to play Tom and Jerry forever. My colleague here, he's in a difficult position. He's still in the service, He may not be able to address some of these things because, there are things he cannot say against the government. So the point is that Tinubu is still using the same, let me just say tactics. It's not even a strategy, that Buhari was using, People, they voting more money into defense. It goes the same way politicians eat the money we know.
So what will you advise to do?
What will I advise for him to do is that, first of all, the most important thing for me is awareness of the problem. I've always said, when you're trying to look at insecurity, the first thing is to be aware of the problem. Once you are aware of the problem, it's easy to tackle it. The politicians or the elites are not even aware of the fundamental causative of insecurity. You look at it on the surface. Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, people are talking about religion, ethnicity, they are fighting each other, whatever. And I've always said that is not the way they should approach it. Everything is politics. The reason why people are doing this is economic. This topic is about the theoretical linkage between insecurity and economic development. The fundamental case we have in Nigeria, every insecurity in every state is typical. Nigeria is very unique in its own way because the elites are stealing our resources, bringing people to, mine your resources. And for them to do it successfully, you need to also bring janjaweeds to actually be your police or your army. And you put my colleagues in disarray because they have to start fighting those people that elites brought in to actually kill people on a space so that they can mine the resources. Everything is about resources, illegal resource mining that has displaced our people, all in the name of religious and ethnicity. It's not religious and ethnicity, it's about resources. Illegal mining of resources. I was in Liberia. It's about resources. Diamonds. I was in Sierra Leone and I've been to Angola and some other places. You see, the elite listening to should understand that the problem is not religious, it's not ethnicity, it's not about Boko Haram. People cause those things to happen so that they can have unfettered access to illegal mining of resources. Go to Zamfara. Go to Plateau State. It is about resources. And this is another country. You can't even see this kind of thing in Ghana where you give people mining license. If the government are listening to me, they should stop that process. Your girlfriend, your uncle, or your friends, you give them mining license to go and mine a place. And the locals, the community there, they are resisting it, that you are degrading our land and resources. Go to Ogoni. I was in the Navy. Go to Ogoni. Go to all this riverine area. You see how shell and so, how they destroy the environment. And the same thing with mining. We've left the issue of Niger Delta militants and so on. We have now gone to the land issue. So, to answer your question, the government, first of all, they need to be aware, but they are aware. It's not that they're not aware, because they are also in the loop. They are part of the charade and the problem. So it's going to be difficult to solve. You need people to tell Tinubu to try to arrest all those people that were sponsoring these narratives. Buhari said he has arrested about 400 of them. Dubai also, Abu Dhabi told us they've arrested and tried some of them. They sent them to us, sent them their list. The solution is that Buhari should send a warning that he's willing.
Tinubu.
Tinubu, sorry. I think I should remove Buhari from my brain. Tinubu should send a warning to those people that are causing this problem, because this problem is not natural. As a security expert, there are some problems that are natural, and it's very easy to fight. But when they are unnatural, when people are instigating people against each other in the name of religion, in the name of ethnicity, and through that process, this is the same thing the British did to us. Divide and rule. Our elite now learn from the British how to divide and rule us, and steal our resources. Just the same thing the British did. So how do you solve that problem? I think it's just to be very, very determined, to change the status quo. Because if the British did this successfully for years, they handed over to our elite. Our elite are doing the same thing. So who is going to solve the problem?
No, Kunle Olawunmi, you said earlier on that the security agencies should re-strategize. They should change their tactics and all that. And I recall that sometime last week, some retired generals also said the same thing. So how do you think they should go about it? Do you have ways areas you think they are neglecting and things like that?
Okay, let me, because the essence of this discourse is to find a solution. So let's divide it into policy strategic aspect, and let's look at operational and tactical aspects, so that it makes it easy, okay? So let me first of all approach the operational and tactical way to do it. When you are aware of the problem, you will discover that there are two main agencies that are supposed to tackle this issue. Number one is the intelligence community, to actually go in and find out those people that are causing this things. They've done that, they know. So that's out of the way. Now, if you now want to go kinetics, I don't like the way they've gone about the kinetic aspect. They are causing so much attrition. We are losing men. You don't know. We are losing a lot of soldiers on a daily basis. There are groups that I know that every time I'm seeing obituary, so may God, people are dying. So that tactics is archaic. You want to fight a battle of attrition, you line up our men to send them into the bush without air cover. You must have the command and control of the airspace. I watched the last operations in Kaduna, and it was chaotic. So the kinetic approach is very, very brutish, like you are fighting First World War. What you need to do is to have the command and control of the airspace, using any means possible. Electronic means, you can use hardwares like drones, blimps, attack helicopters, and so on, and have the command of the airspace. And if you are sending men into the bush, you must give them air cover. I have been seeing all the operations. There's no air cover. That is suicide mission. Because if you are fighting an asymmetric warfare, the initiative rests with the terrorists. Why? Because they're already in the bush, they have informants, they know the soldiers are coming, they are waiting for them. They ambush them and kill a lot of them. So the kinetic approach is very brutish, very crude. And in this 21st century, you cannot send men into the bush without having a drone in the air to ascertain the position of the terrorists. You must know where they are. You can't just be going like, hunters, hunting for animals. You have to have the air cover. So the first aspect is that the kinetic approach must change. You must dominate the airspace before you send men in. And sometimes you don't need to send our men the harm's way. If you dominate the airspace, you know where they are, just send an aircraft to bomb the place. The other aspect, that's the operational and tactical aspect, which I do not I don't subscribe to it because we are losing our men. The policy strategy has to do with the use of strategic intelligence. You have the signal intelligence, you have the communication intelligence, you have the electronic intelligence, you have geospatial intelligence that you can use to determine those people that are initiating these problems. So at the policy level, you must identify the people that are causing this problem. Because whenever you see terrorism, whenever you see insurgency, whenever you see kidnapping, going to the Sicilian history, Italy, the mafia, somebody, somewhere, some group of people, some elements of our elite are sitting down somewhere and benefiting from that. So to solve it, I don't want to talk too much on the air, is to focus on those elements, the mafia. Imagine a few years ago, we were so proud to say, the cabal. These are the people that are causing this problem. So what you need to do is to identify them. Get a very good lawyer and get good charges and try them for treasonable felony. Once you do that, once Tinubu just go that way, they'll be quiet. All this thing will stop.
You think it's not too late for that?
No, it's never too late. It's never too late.
Okay.
Yeah, it's never too late. As a Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the box ends on your table.
Okay, Kunle.
Kunle.
Oh, Kunle, I apologize for that.
Or just Kunle.
Okay. Actually, I wanted to say Commodore Olawunmi.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Now, when we are talking about intelligence to government from the field, courtesy the various arms of the law, I know those in positions of authority, like the Commander-in-Chief, for instance, and the governors at their level, they get quite a lot of information on a daily basis about what is happening in their domain or in the country. It is not as if they don't know, like you already mentioned, that they don't know who and who are in place. About a month ago, shortly ago, we had the Minister of Solid Mineral Resources, Dele Alaki, saying emphatically that government knows those who are financing terrorism, those who are backing banditry, and of course the information to the public is not new, because when General Abacha, Muhammad Buhari was in government, we had similar information that government knows them. Government share information even with Buhari, they give them information. But my question is, why is it difficult? Why do they have political will at least to prosecute these people we are talking about, even up to the point of this administration?
No, do you just mention that they like complain about these people?
Yes, he mentioned it.
He did?
Yes, he did. Publicly, even the newspaper reported it.
Okay, I won't comment further on that. But
okay.
The challenge, is that, politics in Nigeria is not the kind of democracy that you see in, let's say, Denmark, Sweden, or the parliamentary system in the United Kingdom. I think is the kind of politics we play. It's so difficult to be the president of this country. It's so difficult. You have to go across, all the people, all those people, they must support you. So when you get to power, sometimes it's so difficult to do the needful. I think for me, because I've been thinking about it, and that's why I was asking about it, like I'm surprised he said something like that. Because I know a lot of things that went in before Tinubu came in, and know the role of Dele Alaki and all this stuff. But I'm surprised he's complaining, because it just shows that their hands are tied. That's it. Because they have enough depth and strategic support, in terms of security, awareness before they came in. And if he's complaining, then I think their hands are tied. Otherwise, it's not rocket science. The list of these people that's why I was looking at, because he has refused to change the DGSSS, which is a good strategy, okay? Because he has a lot of information about this charade that was going on. He was with Buhari, and he has kept him because I think he needs to have enough brief about these people. I'm just hopeful that Tinubu will do the needful. I'm not in doubt that he will do the needful, and the needful is for him to mop up the society of the cancer, because this is cancer, and the only way you can take care of cancer is not by taking medication, is by a surgical operation. You need to cut the cancerous cells. You have to actually remove it, and the cancer is still there. So I'm not in doubt, because of what I know, that Tinubu will eventually do the needful. He has enough brief. As I said, when you see this kind of things going on, it's because the people, the elite and the government are aware and are benefiting from it. But you see, I think enough is enough. Enough is enough.
The key word I want to use now, Commodore, is the word trust. A lot of Nigerians no longer trust security agencies, If you report to you said it earlier on, you mentioned it, that when you go to the police station to report a case, at the end of the day, you'll be the one that will be blamed when you charge people, when they're charged to court.
I have such experience many times.
So that word trust, it is missing now. A lot of people do not trust. So what can they do to actually bring back that trust, to ensure that the public now trusts them enough to share information with them? Then we used to have boxes at strategic places. You just drop it. You need not put your name. You just complain. But it's no longer it's no longer like that now.
Yeah, I think that's a very fundamental question, because that's supposed to incorporate the community, our people, into the security loop. That's a very good idea. But how do you change the mind of a policeman that is ready to compromise security? How do you change that? I think I would take it to the remote causes, and I want our audience to understand how we get to this point where you have a policeman or somebody in the court, and they are actually killing justice system in Nigeria. I think it's from the recruitment process. The people you bring in, how do you screen them? I've seen police screening. We've observed how they screen people. They basically don't screen people. You pay, and they can challenge you. You pay. You want to join the police, you pay. So I think you should just go back. And the IG is my brother, so it's not like I'm trying to be emotional, or maybe trying to. You pay. You have to know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, or you pay. So if you bring in the wrong people, why do you expect a different outcome? It's garbage in, garbage out. I've been involved in a few issues where somebody stole a lot of my things. I give you a job as my farm manager, and this is a real case that just ended in Ilaro. I employed you, and you decided to steal all the machineries we imported from China. You broke them, scattered them, you stole everything. All the products in the farm, you sold them, and you are standing and facing me. And I took you to the police station. And the police said, sir, come and testify, come and write statement. I wrote statement. They said, sir, we're going to charge it to court. I said, okay, who is the prosecution officer, the IPO? This is a case, and they can investigate it and confirm. And when we got to court, they asked me how much I paid. I came and they put me in a cage and I talked to the judge. This is what happened. The evidence is there. They said, okay. So they adjourned the case. Do you know that the next time I will hear was that the boy has been discharged and acquitted. His name is Tosin. He was discharged and acquitted. And I said, what happened? They never called me. They never informed me. They said they don't need to because the IPO is the prosecuting attorney. So that's somebody of my level. And I never got justice. So how much more ordinary people? This, what I mentioned on the air now, you can investigate it. Go to Lava and investigate. So how much more these common people that now want to report case, want to do this? You just don't get justice. And I don't blame the police. You budget for the police. The money is stolen along the way. If I go to, when I went to the station there is no paper, there's no Bible. You have to give money, then you have to open a file and all this stuff. The system has collapsed. There's no justice. There's no rule of law. People don't have a recourse to justice again. And if it has happened to me, because that happened, nothing happened. This boy now, there's another case. They went to my farm and removed all my roof and all this stuff. The police called me. I said, I'm not coming. They said, oh God, but you have to come and arrest it. I said, I'm not coming.
Were they underpaid?
I'm talking about last week.
Were they underpaid?
I don't know how much they paid them. I don't work in the police.
No, I'm not talking about the police now. You know, I don't know the farm workers.
No, the person that
that you are aggrieved or something.
No. This second case is not even my staff. He came from Songo and was just removing it and taking it to Songo to sell. So that was not even my worker. The staff in question, if we talk about being underpaid, I rented a house for them. I married for him. Okay. We went through the wedding. He's like, I took him as my brother, not even about payment, not to talk about payment. So Nigerian, I think another thing we should understand about insecurity is that the society have become cancerous itself. I'm talking about the so-called poor people. They are the new cancer because you cannot reform them. No matter what you do. Why? Because of education. Education collapsed since 1980s. Education collapsed. Go outside on the street now. You see how the poor people also behave. You put electricity, they go and remove it. You put this one, they remove it. There's a need for reform in this society. The elite are doing their own. The poor people are even worse. Give those poor people opportunity now. They will steal everything that is in this studio. Because of hunger and poverty of the mind. It's not just poverty of cash. Because I've worked in Ethiopia, Benin Republic here. They don't have the kind of economy we have. But you won't see them doing what Nigerians are doing. Our society is cancerous. It's bad. If you go to Ethiopia, if you go to Norway, because I was controlling Norway, they only bring in people from Eritrea and Ethiopia, and you can Google it and find out. If you say you're Nigerian, they don't even want to see your passport. So there's something fundamentally wrong with Nigerian poor, downtrodden people. And that's why they keep on helping to bring the kind of leadership we have. That election comes now. These taxi drivers, all these people that we are talking on TV to assist are worse. They are going to carry cutlass, juju, kill people so that they can bring in a known criminal to be your leader.
Commander Olawunmi, I want us to talk about the level of the number of arms and ammunition in the society, particularly in the hands of the non-state actors. Of course, there are studies that have blamed this avalanche to the political elite, as it were. When elections are coming, different kinds of things, dangerous weapons are brought into the country and given to their disciples, as they call them. And it became so much difficult to mop up after the elections. What can government do? Can government mop up the security agencies, as it were, or an agency of government? Can they mop up the number of arms and ammunition in the hands of non-state actors?
I'll answer you in two ways. If the government is willing to mop it up, they can. It's possible. The ways and means are there. It's not as difficult. It's not rocket science to remove all these weapons in the societies. I'm not going to give them the benefit of knowing how to do it. The reason I will not do that, my friend, Ambassador Umohi, was in charge of the small arms proliferation and so on. He was the DG, National Intelligence Agency. We worked together then, and later, because of his passion for this small arms issue, he was made to be in charge of trying to get them out of the society. And I used to, because sometimes we share information, and so I used to go to his office in Abuja then. And what he told me, I cannot say it on the air. He couldn't do it. The challenges he has. So basically it's the people in government that are causing the problem. So he could not even solve the problem. He has left the place now. The second aspect is that we can't do it because we don't have the political will to do it. People that are carrying these arms, fighting these guys and causing problems, are agents of the political elite. It's like you are telling the National Assembly to reform itself. It's the same thing. You want to remove weapons from this society. It's like telling that you want to disarm the political elite. So who's going to give the orders? And when the orders are given, is actually, but it is possible, because to give Nigerians that sense of peace and transport, it's very possible to remove them. Understand? Mm-hmm. There are ways of doing it, and within a year or two, you can ensure that at least the issue of small arms proliferation in this country can. I can give you one of the simple ways. In the night, I can put systems up, and I will know things that are that have that's iron content. Okay, and the imagery can tell me whether it is a weapon, or maybe it's just axe, or maybe it's a cutlass, or whether it's an SMG or something. So you can locate them. There are locators. You can locate when you have even explosive content in the air. That's when you go to the airports. They will check. They will swap your hand. Why do you think they're doing that? Because explosive content, drugs, they leave signatures on your body. So I can know if there are some explosives in this building, not by looking around. There are systems that will tell me there are explosive content in this building. And the system that will tell me if human beings are moving in the bush, let's say from Niger, they are entering Megama in Katsina. I can use infrared system to see whether they're carrying guns, weapons, whether they're carrying explosives in the night. The imagery can tell me. Do we have it? Maybe. Can we acquire those equipments? Of course, yes. But if you remove the weapons in the system, then you are just like, it's like you are removing clothes from the elites. You naked them, because they have no, like some people are afraid to talk to them. It's not because they have people with guns that can chase you. That's why people are afraid of them. So if you now remove the weapons in the system, 6 million small arms as of last year, then you're going to naked them. They have no power. They can't win elections. In Ogun State here, you knew what happened some years back, that weapons were being returned to police and so on. Once you remove the weapons in the system, because I went to his office, I would look at the data. We were having at that time about 6 million small arms, illegal, all over the place. Once you remove them, which I say is possible, then there will be no election practices, there will be no thuggery again. There will be no people carrying, ballot boxes. There will be peace in the society. But if there's peace in the society, what happens? It means that during an election, people can go and vote for the right leader. And this country is better for it. But who's going to carry that reform? Is it the same people that are benefiting from small arms in the system that will reform that system? So this country is like it's jinxed, you know. We're just jinxed because the British did it, and they handed over to these people, and they're doing the same. So it is the poor people, the average people, that will suffer their consequences, just like the whole country will suffer the consequences of colonialism. Now they are gone. Now the poor people now will suffer the consequences of elite colonialism. It's just colonialism again. So who's going to bear the cart? Who's going to say, okay, enough? How do we stop it? The same elite?
Kunle Olawunmi, how bad is it in this country?
How bad is it? It is as bad as your exchange rate is exchanging for more than 1,000 naira to $1. That is how bad it is. Can you imagine the impact on the economy? The impact on insurance? People may not know some of the passive danger that we are in. The impact on the budget for defense. The money they are supposed to use to build schools, hospitals, roads, we have pushed them into defense, to security budget. Unfortunately, they still eat that one. You understand that? So how low can I go? Check the interest rate. You brought me here to discuss economics. I have a BSc economics from University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Look at the interest rate. If I take a loan of 10 million from FCMB, I will mention their name because I took a loan from them. They will tell me, oh, you're going to pay 26%, 24%. By the time you regress your payment over 3 years, you are paying 52%. How can that economy survive? How? I use the money to buy bakery equipment, and every month now, and they keep on regressing the interest rate. In other words, you are paying, let's say, 368 when you start. Oh, they said the CBN has so it has not gone, the interest rate has gone up by 0.something%. Another day, 1.2. And now I'm paying 400,000 every month. 400,000 times 36 months will tell you how much I'm paying on 10 million. So this country has, how bad can I say, what is CBN doing? Why can't we have single digit interest rate? Why? Why should I be paying 52% on a loan? What kind of business will I do that I'll be able to break even in 3 years?
What's your take on that? The psychological effect of all this on Nigerians when we talk about poverty, unemployment, and the exchange rate, the skyrocketing price of goods and all that.
Now, I will use one word: hopelessness.
That's
one word. People they are hopeless. When a society loses hope, anything can happen. There's hopelessness on the land. Go out in the night. This is Abeokuta. Go out in the night and see our little children, 16-year-old girls. You see them littered all over the place. They are prostitutes now. I'm a lecturer in the university. The population is dwindling because parents can no longer pay school fees. My cousin had an accident in Abeokuta here. They took him to the hospital here. I don't want to start mentioning names, but you know the hospital on your street. He died. They could not treat him. I went, they said they needed money. We keep on spending money. Health's supposed to be free. Why can't we have the NHS, they are making noise and using it to steal more money? I think Nigeria is just jinxed. I think we're having a society now that is hopeless and helpless. Because you vote people in to show that we trust you. We surrender our sovereignty to you. you go and manage our resources and share the welfare. We call it social welfare function. There's an economist that they call the Pareto, is an Italian economic, and he tried to, resolve the issue of social welfare. So if we vote you in to go and resolve our problem, and you get there and you are stealing all the resources, and you are harassing us with siren and other stuff, so we become hopeless. That's why I use that one word. Your hope is lost because the person you put there to assist you to do roads, hospital, education is there feeling big and is destroying the entire fabric of the society. So this society has become hopeless.
Well, just speechless when you said the situation is hopeless, but earlier on you said you believe the President, Tinubu's administration, can actually do one or two things to rescue Nigerians from this situation. So I will leave Nigerians, I will leave us all with that. I would rather go with that than the case of hopelessness, so that it doesn't trigger something else. So let's just be hopeful that the current administration, somebody said we should give the current administration 1 year. So let's bank on that's 1 year, and be prayerful, and you also have your own roles to play to ensure that this country gets better. Don't forget, if you see something, say something. We're taking a break now. When we come back, another segment will come up. Another discussion will come up. So stay with the People's Semi, and I want to thank retired Commodore Kunle Olawunmi, former Deputy Director of Defense Administration, Defense Headquarters, and Commodore, thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure.
Jack Obonaya, Public Relations Officer, MSCDC, Ogun State. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.